Okay. Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the September 2nd special meeting of the Ames Community School District Board of Directors. I will call the meeting to order and entertain a motion to approve the agenda.
I move we approve the agenda.
Second. Moved by Beerbaum, seconded by Bankin. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed, nay. Passes 5-0. And Director Acker, will you please read our purpose statement?
Certainly. The Ames Community School District commits to equity and access that empowers every individual to reach their full personal and educational potential.
Thank you. And we have just one action item on our agenda tonight, the ACSD 2021-22 Employee Recruitment Incentive Program. And I'll entertain a motion.
I move the board approve the 2021-22 Employee Recruitment Incentive Program as presented.
Second. Moved by Bankin, seconded by Colton. Discussion. We will let Kristen Johnson start.
Thank you. And also thank you very much for coming in for this special meeting. It's for a very small, what seems to be a small thing, but I think it will in the end be actually a pretty major thing for some of our employees. So as you know, or as I indicated, we have a pretty serious shortage in our number of EAs that work for the district. And so we are looking at a lot of different things as to what we might do to try to attract more employees. And this was one thing that we thought we could implement right away, perhaps. So that's why we brought it to the board, because we're trying to hire more people. We wanted to get it in place. So it's an incentive, 3 parts. A hiring incentive for a new EA would get $100 once they work for us for a month. A referral incentive for any employee who refers somebody that we hire, they would get $100 for that employee. And then the final thing is a retention incentive for EAs. And I want to clarify because I think it may be misunderstood. That applies to current EAs, people who have worked with us, no matter how long they've worked us, as long as they were hired, the entire 750 is available as long as they were hired before October 1st, and then it gradually is reduced throughout the year as they become hired throughout the year. So with that, hopefully, explanation, if there are any other questions.
I have a question. I'm sorry, go ahead, Jane.
Yeah. No, I was wondering, has there been attrition in the ranks of EAs more than we might have seen in typical years? Have we lost more since last year, the year before? Or is this just a general shortage that we were?
It's a general, we did lose quite a few in the past couple of years. And I think a lot of that had to do is COVID related. But it's also, there's a shortage, and there's just a shortage of labor in this town. I don't know if you've noticed, but I see for hire signs everywhere.
My question is just about so thank you for that clarification, because I was going to ask that. I was like, that seems odd. So, but I guess my question is, I'm having trouble understanding the time cutoff between the 750 and the 600.
The time cutoff?
Yeah, so one says for 750, you have to start before October 30th, but for the 600, you have to start by September 30th. And so I'm unclear.
So it should say October 1st and September 30th.
Scroll up.
It does say that.
Right. So if you have been employed with us before October 1st,
Which is September 30th.
yeah,
Right.
right.
Okay.
So it just has to do with the prepositions that were used. The dates have to match what the preposition is. So between September 30th, which starts October 1st, and December 31st, or December 1st, and then between November 30th, which starts on December 1st, and February 1st.
I see.
And so if you, we just did the simple math on it. EAs work 10 months a year, basically. And so the full year was 750. So if you'll notice for each 2 months, it goes down by $150. So it's just kind of prorating that so that the ones that have worked for us the longest are going to get more. And we felt that that was a fair way to do it by prorating it by the amount per month. I do want to say that the difference between a program like this as opposed to maybe looking at the pay structure itself is that we consider this to be one time. It's not linked to an hourly rate so that there's FLSA implications. We are going to have some extra funds this year within the EA ranks because we haven't filled all our positions. So our rationale is we're going to take the money that we're not spending because we haven't been able to fill it to try to use some of that money to get the positions filled. Whereas increasing the hourly rate is a significant budget impact that we'll have to talk about during budget.
And I assume that these amounts were calibrated to be attractive
Yes,
enough to do the job,
that's what we were
you know,
hoping for.
relative to
That
the
was our,
overall pay structure.
yes.
Any other questions from the board? Do we know how much is this going to be? Do we have a, just because it covers all the EAs, right? All the EAs that we have. So do we know about, do we have an amount?
I mean, I guess I probably should have done that calculation. It wouldn't be something that I can set in stone because if we have an EA that was hired prior to October 1st, but they quit in December, they're not going to get the entire $750. They have to work the whole year to get it. Now, we don't want the employees to wait an entire year for that money, so we're giving them a partial payment in December and a partial payment in June, or a bigger payment in June. And that's part of that incentive that we want them to stay, so we want that larger payment in that June check. It also would help them bridge that summer where they're not getting those checks for the 2 months. I mean, I could do a quick, but again, without knowing who might quit between then and how many this might encourage to come hire, you know, for us to hire, I think it'd just be a guess at this point.
Okay. How will this be communicated out to the community and to the EAs? Is there a plan for that? How will this be communicated out to the EAs and the community as a whole to recruit people?
So we will put it on our social media. We also, we're going to be appearing at or participating in the Chamber of Commerce job fairs in September. So we'll have posters that'll talk about it. And then I'm going to send an email to the EAs. And then I'm going to send also an email to all staff about the referral retention incentive.
Great, thank you.
And one of the reasons we wanted to have the meeting and why we asked to have it before the holiday was that we would like Eric to do one of those Facebook boost ads over the weekend. And we just thought if we waited till the 13th, that's another 2 weeks down before we can even advertise the program, and then probably another 2 weeks before anybody would be on board. So that's one of the reasons why we asked you to come in before the holiday so we could get it going.
Sure. Other discussion? And it was moved by Bankin and seconded by Colton. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed, nay. Passes 5-0. And I will entertain a motion to adjourn.
I move we adjourn.
Second?
Moved by Beerbaum, seconded by Acker. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Passes 5-0. Thank you for coming, everybody.